Hello everybody and welcome back to the fifth tutorial for the HTML videos. This time we're actually going to go over what's called divs and tables. Um, Here is the basic layout of it. Divs you will use all the time. Tables were used back in the day to actually create everything before they really started using divs. So what we would actually do is they would put all of this in the actual table and then line it up wherever they wanted it to go. So let's go ahead and let's take all of this out, and we'll take this out, and we'll take this out. Well, let's take all of this out. So that leaves us with basically an empty sheet. So let's go ahead and we'll add a table tag right here. And we want to actually use the style attribute like I showed you in the last couple videos. And we want to... Why is it got a plus sign? Equals. Okay. So let's actually put the width and set it to 100%. And let's close this tag. Okay, just like almost any other tag, we want an actual closing tag on the inside. So we will do table. Okay, now inside here, I normally tab over just to make it look a little bit cleaner. But inside here, we want to go with TR tag, which is table row. So we do the TR tag right after table, and then inside the TR tag we'll actually put either TH or TD for table header or table data. So inside here we'll actually put TR for table row and go ahead and put the closing. And then inside here we'll actually put TH because we want to actually have a header for our table. And we'll just go in here and we'll put first name. And then we'll close our TH. Now what we want to do is we want to add a couple more of these just for looks, and we'll go last name. And one more. Oops. I cannot spell. Okay. So, and let's do the closing. Okay, so whenever we actually make this, it'll actually show our TR, which is our one row with the actual table headers. So let's save this, and let's go ahead and run this in Chrome. And as you see, it's got first name, last name, and test score on our orange page still. So let's go in here, let's add another TR, and let's go ahead and close that while we're at it. And let's go TD, and let's go Bob. Okay, then we want to put another TD, and then we're going to put the last name, Secombe. and TD. And then what do we want to give Bob as a test grade? I think Bob was a good student, so let's give him a 95. Okay, let's save that. Let's bring up Google Chrome and let's refresh. Okay, now see, what's going on here is Bob is over here to the side, Saccone is over here to the side, and it's just all messed up. So what it's doing is, imagine this is 3 different columns and it's got lines. So each line to that column would be one right here and one right here. That way the table header is going to be centered, but none of this is actually going to be centered. So if we actually go over here into our style sheet and we go and type in TD and put that in there, and we go text align and say center, this should actually straighten it up. So let's refresh, and now you see that everything is actually centered. So basically what this does is it automatically sets it to the left. You can go in there and actually set it to go to the right if you want to make it look a little bit nicer. If you really want to go all out, you could actually set this to the left, this to the left, and then this to the right. It depends on how you actually want to lay out the actual table. So now that we've actually went over tables, what I want to do is mention that this table should really only be used for whenever you actually have data like this and you're actually going to input stuff. It's not really good for design because it's not really resizable. I mean, you can go in and resize each individual block, but you don't really want to do that. You want something that's going to be a lot easier. So if we actually go over here, inside here, what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to put what is called a div. Now what this is basically called a division tag, and this basically blocks everything together. So if we were to actually take this and let's add another one, and inside this div we're going to actually put let's just go with H2, and we're going to go marks table. Okay, now inside here what this is going to do is it's going to put it basically together. So if we actually run this and we refresh, you see how this goes up here and this moves down. Well, what we want to do is I actually want to take this and put it over here and then have this actually beside it. So what we can do is we go up here and let's just go in here and do the style, and let's say the width is 50%. Okay, now let's just take this, copy, and put that in here and save that. And let's refresh, and you see how this actually got smaller. Now if we were to actually take this and we put 49%, what it should do is nothing. Okay. Oh yeah, I've got to go over float. Okay, we want to add a little something extra called float on here. So let's do float left. And what this does is it actually takes that div and almost does like the text align, but puts it to the actual left. So let's take this one and we'll actually add the same thing. And let me change this back to 50. That should work. Okay, let's go back over here. Okay, now you see right here, this is 50% of the page, and it takes that 50%. Now, if we were to actually change this right here and say we only wanted it to about 30% of the page, and we refresh it, you see that it actually goes smaller. Now, if we change this left to right and save it and bring it back up, then you see that it actually goes over here and it looks a little bit better. That's because this is the float right and it sets it to the actual right side of the page, whereas this is float left, so it brings it to this side of the page. Basically, if we actually go in here and add background color, and let's go black, and then on this other one we'll actually put this in here, and we'll change this one to pink. I don't know why I keep doing pink, but I guess it shows up. Okay, so now you can see where it actually goes together. Now, if we change this back to the 50% and we save it and we refresh it, you see that it goes right next to it. Okay, now if we were to change this back to the 30% and change this to left and save it, then it shortens it, but it still puts it over here. Okay, and you kind of notice that this the actual size for the height went a lot bigger, and this one's actually bigger than this one. Well, that's because we don't have the actual height set. The height automatically adjusts depending on what is in the actual div itself. But we can actually go over that a little bit later. That's basically it for this tutorial. So we went over divs. This is actually a good way right here to start laying out your website and adding the different color backgrounds, so you can actually see where the divs are and how it's going to basically line up. Now we'll go into more detail about that a little bit later on. The next actual tutorial I'm going to do is deals with divs more in depth with what's called IDs and classes. So just stay tuned for that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.